This week's episode of Outside the Ropes is dedicated to the victims of the terrorism attacks that took place in Paris this past Friday. Everybody at Outside the Ropes would like to send their thoughts and prayers to all the families of all the victims of the terrorism attacks that took place this past Friday night. Hello everybody and welcome back to another week of Outside the Ropes. I'm your host of Outside the Ropes as always, Matthew Moore. Hope everybody out there is doing great and wonderful. Thank you so much for tuning in for another week for all the news and scoops in the world of professional wrestling. Well guys, what type of week has it been in the world of wrestling? It's been quite busy. Some interesting things have happened over the past few days since we last spoke to you here on the programme. We've got some great news coming up for you tonight. We've got some news regarding WWE, TNA, also some news regarding weddings, former wrestlers and current WWE superstars getting weddings, so there's a bit of wedding blues going about at the moment, and much, much more. So stay tuned with us for the next few minutes as we try and bring as much news as we can to you here on Outside the Ropes this week. Before we move on to anything else on this podcast this week, I just want to give a shout out to our friends and partners of this podcast, Wrestling's Past. If you're historians of professional wrestling, just like myself and most people who listen to this podcast, Wrestling's Past is the location. Go to their website, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and on Twitter at Wrestling's Past for all the history in the world of professional wrestling, whether it be WWF, WWE, ECW, WCW, WWF, NWA, and any organisation that you can think of, Wrestling's Past is the location. Once again, their website, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and on Twitter. Most importantly, their Twitter. Their Twitter's awesome. Daily tweets on these days, tweets and stuff like that. Fantastic photographs and much, much more. At Wrestling's Past on Twitter. Don't forget to follow Wrestling's Past for all your history of professional wrestling needs. Guys, well, let's get stuck straight into it. We're going to start off this week's edition of Outside the Ropes on a sad note. The news we announced the other day on our social media feeds about the passing of a NWA legend and WWE Hall of Famer Nick Bockwinkel, who passed away in the last few days. Everybody here at the show would like to send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Nick Bockwinkel, who is a legend in the wrestling business. As we all know the history of him. If you don't know anything about the history of him, you can check out information about him on the likes of Wikipedia, WWE.com, our good friends at Wrestling's Past. If you're new to wrestling, you know who Nick Bockwinkel is. He is a Hall of Famer with WWE. Had a fantastic career back in the day, but unfortunately we had the news the other day that he passed away aged 80. So our thoughts and prayers are with the family at this time of the WWE Hall of Famer Nick Bockwinkel. Guys, Monday Night Raw from this past Monday night. Whoa, what a show we had. The WWE title tournament continued. We're now down to the final four guys leading into this Sunday's Survivor Series. But before we do that, we'll talk more about that. Let's give a shout out for this Sunday night. Guys, we all know it's pay-per-view time this Sunday night. Outside the Ropes are doing a Survivor Series pre-show. Now, I have been talking to Tony in the last few days, and you all know Tony had resigned from the show, but he did say he would pop in every so often. He's hoping to come and swing by my home this Sunday night so we can pre-record a Survivor Series pre-show, which will talk about all the matches leading into the pay-per-view on Sunday night. So hopefully we're going to get Tony onto the podcast this Sunday night. Now, it will be available to download on iTunes, listen to on our Facebook, YouTube, and much, much more, like Speaker and other sources that we have the show out on, around about 3 or 4 hours before the pay-per-view. So you can get in, get your questions into us, guys. Email them at outsidetheropes@yahoo.com, at Outside the Rope on Twitter, and also on our Facebook, which we'll be putting up in the next day or so after this podcast is put online. We'll ask you for your questions and your predictions for this Sunday's Survivor Series pay-per-view. So don't forget, this Sunday night, Outside the Ropes Survivor Series pre-show. It's going to be great. We're going to be answering all your predictions and questions and stuff like that, because we love hearing from you guys here on the show. But anyway, back to Monday night for Raw. This past Monday night's Raw, bit of controversy on Raw this week, but we'll talk about that shortly. But the title tournament has continued. We're down to the final four competitors at this Sunday's Survivor Series. The final four competitors are as follows. We have Roman Reigns, Alberto Del Rio. We have Kevin Owens, as well, and Dean Ambrose. So we have Dean Ambrose going up against Kevin Owens, and Alberto Del Rio going up against Roman Reigns in the semi-finals of the title tournament. Now, I did get my prediction for this last week, what I think is going to happen. But a lot of rumours are going around that there could be possibly a big heel turn or something major happening in the finals this Sunday at the title tournament. Will history repeat itself like it did back in 1998 where The Rock won the WWF title in a title tournament, but the title tournament took place throughout the entire night, where The Rock turned on all the fans and became the corporate champion? Are we going to see maybe something happening like that? Are we going to see maybe something unexpected? Or are we going to see a clean victory? I want to hear your predictions, guys. Get the questions in. Get the predictions in for this Sunday, and we'll put them out on our pre-show this Sunday night. Anyway, Raw itself, the matches leading into it, the match of the night for me had to be Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. Great back and forth match. You expected it from these two guys, but during the night we had Triple H going around trying to, should we say, try and talk people into being his new Seth Rollins. We had Cesaro, we had Alberto Del Rio. It wasn't. Is somebody going to maybe turn and join the Authority in these final four competitors? We don't know. By the looks of things, obviously on paper, in a perfect world, probably be Kevin Owens. But we may see a big twist for Sunday, I don't know. But the matches in the title tournament were good. We had an interesting segment to kick off Raw, where we had The Undertaker and Kane in the ring doing their final promo leading into their match this Sunday at Survivor Series, where we had the Druids along at ringside. We had the Wyatt family coming out, who then had the Druids turn on The Undertaker and Kane, where they were wearing sheep masks, jumped into the ring, and obviously Taker and Kane beat them down. But it's going to be a good match for leading into the match this Sunday at The Undertaker's 25th anniversary at Survivor Series. Now, speaking of The Undertaker, also on the pre-show this Sunday, we're going to be talking about The Undertaker's career, as it is his 25th anniversary with the WWE. We're going to look back at all the memories he's had throughout his 25 years in the company. We're going to be asking you guys as well for your favourite Undertaker moments. We'll read out some of them as well. So yes, keep them coming. We'll give you more information about that later on in the podcast as well. But overall, Raw as a show was very, very entertaining leading into this Sunday's pay-per-view. But the most controversial part of Raw came at the end with the contract signing for the Divas title match, where we had Charlotte and Paige in a sort of verbal battle leading into the contract signing for this Sunday's Divas title match in Atlanta, Georgia at Survivor Series. But then the most controversial part, which has had the internet talking since Monday, was Paige's comments towards Charlotte about her brother, who is no longer with us, Reed, who passed away, as you know, a few years ago. Some controversial comments from Paige, which then led to obviously normal contract signing brawl. But we had the internet talking for the last few days. Ric Flair himself has come out and said a few words regarding this situation. Said he wasn't even informed of what was going to happen. Obviously, Charlotte hasn't said very much because obviously his comments were that she hasn't been up in the main roster long enough to have a say. He didn't want to jeopardize, and he didn't want to say very much about it because he didn't want to put her in hot water as well with the company. But, we'll obviously keep an eye on any more comments made by Ric Flair. A lot of you guys have been talking about it on social media as well, about the controversial comments from Paige, saying it was a bit too far, especially in a PG environment. But it was a good contract signing. It was a good, solid story leading into this match. I mean, these girls can quietly kick ass. The fact that they've been left to close the show with a contract signing, it goes to show you that the WWE, especially Triple H as well, has a lot of faith in these current crop of divas, the likes of Sasha Banks, which we'll talk about in just a wee second because I got some news on her. Charlotte, Becky Lynch, all those girls who are really setting the bar now high at the current stage in WWE. So, bit of a controversial contract signing. If you want to give us your thoughts on it, we haven't heard from you yet. You know where to get in touch with us on Twitter, at Outside the Rope, email, outsidetheropes@yahoo.com, and also on our Facebook account, Outside the Ropes Wrestling Talk Show. Regarding Sasha Banks, I know we didn't even mention this in last week's podcast, but apparently Vince McMahon isn't very highly, didn't think very much of Sasha Banks, to be honest with you. Which is quite disappointing because we haven't seen her on TV for a week or two. So I think Vince McMahon needs to put his glasses on again because Sasha Banks is a great talent. Anyway, moving on. Smackdown. Now, we put it out on our Facebook and Twitter. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Now, we don't give away the results for Smackdown. because we don't want to spoil it for you guys, because the show is taped on a Wednesday. Smackdown goes out on a Thursday night. It is taped on a Tuesday, but we don't want to give out the spoilers and ruin it for you guys. But we did give you a bit of a shocker. When I first thought it was TNA. That's a horrible low blow. But SmackDown's attendance this week, what happened? The arena wasn't even partially full. Now this reminds me of the time when the WWE done 2 live events in Belfast a few years ago, back to back, night after night. The first night was completely sold out. You couldn't get a seat anywhere. And the second night, it wasn't even a quarter full. Yeah, second night wasn't even a quarter full. They put out photographs on our social media feeds about SmackDown's tapings, where photographs were taken from ringside, where the side of the arena where the hard camera was based, the arena was empty. It was actually empty. You saw photographs. If you haven't seen it, guys, go and take a look. We tweeted out the photographs and we sent it on Facebook. Leave us a comment on it if you have already. But it was shocking to see. Not even half an arena for SmackDown tapings. What is going on? Is it a bad area to have a TV taping? Shocking. Absolutely shocking to see. A lot of guys were saying, "Oh, I thought it was TNA for a minute." Well, that's the way TNA is always all the time, but obviously SmackDown's the B show, but for that, couldn't believe it. But very, very sad. If you haven't seen it, guys, go and check it out anyway. Hulk Hogan news this week, guys, for you. Hulk Hogan was doing a Q&A recently in the UK. If you have got along to it, let us know what you thought of it. Hulk Hogan said he was asked questions about the controversial sex tape that came out with him. Obviously, his controversial comments that got him released from his WWE deal, and also about what he is doing now with his career. Hogan obviously answered all the questions, but the most important ones was said he is not yet done with wrestling. Now, he has been teasing for a while that he would love to get into the ring for WrestleMania 32. He has said as well he would love to have wrestled John Cena. Is this going to happen? What is going to happen? We don't know. I mean, it's November time now. If he was going to appear at next year's Mania, you're going to have to get that deal done now because, time's ticking. We are getting closer. Excuse me, my eye sniff. I have a bit of a flu coming on. But Hulk Hogan said he is no longer done with wrestling. And please, for the love of God, don't tell me he's going to make a comeback into the ring. Because, to be honest with you, he should stay retired. He is, in my opinion, he'd be silly if he get back into the ring, but this is Hulk Hogan we're talking about. But anyway, then I guys see on Raw this week the thing about Melissa Joan Hart. Now, a lot of you probably don't know younger fans don't know who Melissa Joan Hart is. She played Sabrina the Teenage Witch back in the 1990s, and obviously Clarissa explains it all. She also is a big, huge WWE fan. We've spoken to her as well on Twitter. Yes, that's right. She has tweeted this show a few times during Monday Night Raw, which was good to hear from her. But whether this is a wee thing we're trying to bring her in maybe for WrestleMania or a pay-per-view appearance, she was at Monday Night Raw. She was interviewed recently backstage on WWE.com. But things going on Twitter at the minute where Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods have all blocked her on Twitter. She has been ranting quite a bit on Twitter about stuff like that, but whether this is a wee story, because Michael Cole did mention it on Monday Night Raw, is this going to be a wee thing where they maybe bring Melissa Joan Hart into the show? I don't know, because we all know she's a big WWE fan with her kids. So again, we'll keep an eye on that story, and any more development on that, we'll bring it to you here on Outside the Ropes. Maybe she'll get back into Sabrina mode and put a spell on them. That was so crap, it was cheesy, wasn't it? Love is in the air this week, guys. We have 2 weddings to announce this week. First of all, injured WWE star Randy Orton got married to his fiancée this past weekend in Las Vegas. I'm sure you have all probably seen it on Twitter, but we're going to announce tonight Randy Orton got married this past weekend. We also want to say congratulations to Randy. This is his second marriage. Only a lot of you have probably saw the Randy Orton DVD recent one and said, "Oh, sure, he's already married." No, guys, he's not. He's divorced now. But he's remarried there this past weekend. He sent out tweets as well of him just as he was kissing his bride after they said their I do's. So big congratulations to Randy Orton, who got married this past weekend in Las Vegas. Also, another wedding. Good God, they're all getting married at the moment. Eugene, Nick Dillsmore got married this past week as well. He got married in Las Vegas as well. He sent it out on Twitter too. So former WWF or WWE superstar and trainer. We did mention actually Eugene or Nick Dillsmore a few weeks ago saying he's possibly in talks about returning to the company. We haven't heard any more on that story, guys. But we have heard that he did get married this past week as well. So big congratulations go out to Nick Dillsmore, aka Eugene as well, who got married this past week too. So everybody seems to be getting married at the moment. Anyway, have you saw any of these sort of teases going out at the minute with James Storm? I have. Have you seen them? James Storm's been teasing fans on Twitter since his NXT debut, a few weeks ago. Teasing he could be maybe appearing at Survivor Series. Teasing he could actually be at NXT tonight, which I'm looking forward to seeing, by the way. Good storyline going on at the minute with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Is he going to be appearing on the main roster sooner rather than later, or is he just teasing fans by winding them up? He's been sending a lot of tweets over the last sort of week or two, maybe, especially whenever they announced next week's Raw is in Tennessee, his home state or town or wherever it is. But is he going to be jumping straight to the main roster, or is this just a wee tease to wind up fans? I personally think it's a little tease for the fans to try and keep them on their toes. But, you never know with WWE. We heard last that he still hasn't signed his contract. He's appearing for the company, but he hasn't officially signed his contract. So, a bit like Sting, really, before he signed his contract. And if you don't know any more about that, watch Sting's new DVD, because it'll tell you more about that on that DVD. But James Storm has been teasing fans, so stay tuned to James Storm's Twitter. Some of his wee teases have been very, very good. So keep an eye on that there, guys, as we will be here on the show as well. Some TNA news. Wow, TNA news? What have they been up to? TNA apparently have been in contact with former WCW champion and former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, could we say World Heavyweight Champion or World Champion? Bill Goldberg. That's right, TNA have been talking to Goldberg. Now, is it to come on to their wrestling show? Maybe, maybe not. But Goldberg was interviewed, 2 or 3 days ago, and said he was contacted a few days beforehand by Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, or Impact Wrestling, or TNA, whatever you want to call them. But the thing is, he's in a new movie with TNA star, is it Bram or Bam? I don't really watch that guy, so I don't really want to pronounce his name properly. All I can say is his Charlotte's ex-husband. That's horrible, and I apologise, guys. Being unprofessional here. But TNA have been in contact with Goldberg apparently by promoting his movie. Is he in talks with them about probably making a few appearances for the company? We don't know, but he did say never, and all he said by closing says, we will see. So is Goldberg in talks with TNA? Guys, we will have to keep an eye on that story, because big news is, we heard recently that Goldberg would be open to talks about returning to the WWE, but if TNA is going to jump in there and maybe give him a better deal, we don't know. But money-wise, can they really compete with WWE? Absolutely not. But again, we'll keep an eye on it anyway. It could be just do some promotional work for this movie, but we'll keep an eye on it anyway, guys. And again, any more news comes up, we'll let you know here on Outside the Ropes. So there you go. Also, guys, for a lot of you ECW fans out there, I'll probably remember a ECW wrestler by the name of Hack Myers. Yeah, Axel Rotten put it on his Twitter a few days ago that Hack Myers is actually in hospital at the moment for brain surgery. I know, very sad news. But yeah, he's in hospital at the moment. I haven't heard any more on this here, whether it's been successful or not, but everybody here at the show would like to send our thoughts to Hack Myers. Now, if you haven't seen Hack Myers before, you can go back and watch the old ECW footage on the WWE Network, etc., where you can actually watch some of the stuff that he done with ECW. But apparently he is in hospital. We haven't heard any more yet, guys, but if we do hear any more, we'll let you know on the likes of Twitter, Facebook, etc., and here on the show as well. So our thoughts go out to Hack Myers at this moment as well. Now, guys, moving on to some local stuff I want to announce. I did say there last Sunday that Pro Wrestling Ulster had a show on in Belfast, or I think it was Belfast. As far as I remember, it was Belfast. But the show went successfully well, guys. We'll see, it was obviously tweeted out some pictures and stuff and put it on our Facebook, etc. But PW made it a big announcement. Was it 3 days ago? I think it was. We tweeted it out anyway. I want to get the information here for you now. Don't forget to check out all their news from their company, ProWrestlingUlster.co.uk. Now, you all know, guys, they had former WWE star and TNA star Al Snow in their company for a while, where he actually became the PW heavyweight champion. Now, obviously, he's not the champion anymore, but they have made an announcement that there will be a Al Snow boot camp, 2 days of wrestling training from, obviously, Al Snow himself, taking place on Friday the 11th of December, Saturday the 12th of December, day one on the 11th of December from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., which is in their training camp. Also, the Saturday one, which is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. as well. Both days for training, guys, if you want to go to this training camp, is available. For both days, it costs £50. But if you want to go to one day individually, it costs £30 per day. Now, get yourself, if you're interested in doing this, get yourself booked into this now. You can get in now by contacting them on their website, which is ProWrestlingUlster.co.uk, or you can email them training@ProWrestlingUlster.co.uk, and all the information is on there and on their Twitter account at PW Live and their Facebook Pro Wrestling Ulster. A Al Snow boot camp. Good God Almighty, you get your ass whooped there, because Al Snow is a tough SOB. No experience necessary, guys, for this here. If you want to help to become trained, or if you have been going to wrestling training and you'd like to go to this boot camp and you'd be part of it, Pro Wrestling Ulster Wrestling Academy are doing a boot camp with former WWF and WWE and TNA star Al Snow. So that's Pro Wrestling Ulster, guys. Get yourselves along to that, because it's going to be really, really interesting. Also, Wrestling.ie are doing some great shows coming up as well. Check out their website for any events happening in your local area across Ireland, which is www.wrestling.ie, and also on their website, their Facebook and Twitter, etc. Wrestling.ie for all the shows going up around there as well. Now, also, excuse me, my voice is starting to go now as well. I think I have maybe a bit of man flu coming on here. But yeah, Over the Top Wrestling, guys, if you haven't checked out Over the Top Wrestling here in Ireland, you have to. I mean, I haven't been yet, but for what I've seen on their Facebook page, their videos and YouTube and stuff like that, they have some great shows. Their next show is November 28th at the Trivoli Theatre in Francis Street, Dublin, which I'm just going to get the card here now. They have NXT and WWE star Rhino on the show, and also all their latest big stars as well. They have announced matches, which you can find a full list of matches on their website and also on their Facebook account. But their big show coming up on the 28th of November, which features Rhino, which is obviously he's in NXT at the moment, so you all know out there. The VIP tickets, guys, for this have been sold out. Tickets are other standard tickets are still on sale at Eventbrite, which is spelled BRITE.ie. So you can get your tickets for that show as well, guys, as well. So get along to Over the Top Wrestling. Now, please remember that Over the Top Wrestling is an over 18s only show. Now, I don't know why they've advertised this one as an over the 18s show only. I don't think they have, but they do most shows which are over 18. For information, again, go to their Facebook, their Twitter, and their website, Over the Top Wrestling, for all information on this upcoming show in Dublin. So, there you go. Whew, take a breath now. Don't forget, guys, this coming Sunday, our Survivor Series pre-show, which will be talking about The Undertaker's 25-year career. God, I think I might take a whole podcast even before we talk about the pay-per-view. We want to hear you guys, your favourite Undertaker moments, whether it be his debut back in Survivor Series 1990. I tell you something, I remember that like it was yesterday. I'm not giving away my age, of course. But yeah, let's hear your favourite Undertaker moments. You can email them to us, outsidetheropes@yahoo.com. You can send them to us by Twitter at outsidetherope, and also on Facebook, which we'll put up a wee post and let you comment below your favourite Undertaker moments. Also, we'll be previewing the pay-per-view. We have also heard, and I know we don't give away Smackdown spoilers, but we have heard that there is a traditional Survivor Series match added to the card this Sunday to go alongside all the other matches going on, especially where this Sunday we will see a new World Heavyweight Champion crowned. Who's it going to be? Alberto Del Rio, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, or Kevin Owens? Tune in this Sunday, guys. Usual spot, usual place for our Survivor Series pre-show. And don't forget to check out our good friends at Wrestling's Past as well, at Wrestling's Past on Twitter and wrestlingpast.blogspot.co.uk. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm sorry for blabbering on. If you've stuck with me for this 25 minutes we've been on the air so far, I thank you. Thank you once again for hitting the subscribe button on iTunes. Thanks for listening to us on our usual sources, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere else you find us. Thank you so much for sticking with me and sticking with this show as it is for you, the fans, as always. So until Sunday night, where we hopefully will have Tony back for one night to speak about Survivor Series and his Undertaker favourite moments, because he has a ton of Undertaker moments because he is a big Taker fan. So until Sunday, I'm Matthew Moore, your host of this show. I will see you all on Sunday for our Survivor Series pre-show. So until Sunday, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you all back here on Sunday.